Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to TPL Live. I'm a little under the weather. The show must go on, though. Eagles 42-30 to the Kansas City Chiefs, move to 1-3 on the season. Today, we are breaking down, reacting, doing player grades of everything Philadelphia Eagles. With me today, man, put on my right here. There it is. Ty. What's going on, Ty?
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here, kinda.
And there we go. We're gonna go up top, and that is my man Shane. What's going on, Shane?
Not much. I'm feeling better than I thought I would be before this game started, sitting here on a post-game show. So,
yeah. And then last but not least, what's going on, Rob?
I'm definitely nowhere near the disgrace feeling I felt last Monday night. I think I definitely expected the Chiefs to score 42. I don't know if I expected the Eagles to score 30 though. So, you got to in a season like this, you got to take the good with the bad, and we'll talk about it here today.
Let's talk quick takeaways. For me, missed opportunities has become kind of like synonymous with the Philadelphia Eagles, especially with dumb penalties and, not getting into that end zone. On 2nd and 4 on the Kansas City 6-yard line, you had a Hurts pass to Goddard taken away due to Andre Dillard, an illegal ineligible downfield pass. On 4th and goal in the third quarter, you had on the Kansas City 3-yard line, you had a touchdown pass to Ertz taken away after a JJ got called for a pick. 1st and 10, touchdown pass to Devontae Smith, touchdown taken away due to an illegal touch. There's wait, did we just score again? Oh, no, that's the highlight. But that is definitely something I have noticed is that the plays are there, the execution is not. Lead us off, Ty. What is one of your takeaways?
I don't even see it as missed opportunities. I see it as undisciplined. The flags continue. The flags continue. That was a general theme today again. Sorry, I was just watching Tennessee come back and hopefully tie the game up. They have an extra point to do it. And the Saints just lost to the New York Football Giants in overtime on a Saquon Barkley run. But I am just thoroughly unenthused about the defense. I really am. Not that I'm not trying to take anything away from what Kansas City brings offensively, but the holes the Kansas City Chiefs running backs ran through today. Dibes, I watched you play wiffle ball. You were getting yards. You were getting yards today on handoffs through those holes. And so was I, as old and slow as I am. So I'm a little disappointed about that. I didn't expect them to win today. I'm not sitting here saying that I thought they were going to be, in that game, but the fact of the matter is they were, and they just could not get the Chiefs off the field. No. And that's the difference in the game.
Talk about undisciplined football. Heading into week 4, the Eagles led the NFL with 11.7 penalties per game. Here they had 9 penalties for 49 yards. So it just
on pace to shatter the NFL record.
It's unbelievable. And then you talk about third downs, not being able to get off the field. The Kansas City Chiefs were a ridiculous 9 of 10 in this game on third down. Just breaking your back every single time, especially in the second half when the Eagles had chances, but they couldn't execute. Shane, go ahead. What's one of your takeaways, man?
I mean, what is our run defense? Look at this. Look at this. My grandma could have made it through this hole, and she uses a scooter to get around her house. Okay? I don't even understand how that happens. And so our run defense is just abysmal. The Eagles are giving up nearly the average yards per completion in the league on every carry. And so why would you do anything but just run the ball right at this defense? That's just ludicrous. It is a testament to how poorly constructed this defensive roster is. After week 1, we had a lot of people on Twitter talking about how maybe we've been too hard on Howie Roseman. No, we haven't. This team has horrible talent deficiencies everywhere. And that's not going to change. This defense is going to continue to struggle week in and week out.
What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I think, I think the big story in this one is going to be the defense. Now, will people talk about not being able to get in the end zone? in the red zone? Absolutely, right? You can't beat the Chiefs kicking field goals. And there's a problem to that. However, they did get in the end zone on a few plays, and it goes back to that discipline stuff. Although I got to say it, I thought the illegal man downfield on Lillard was really, really close. And look, I understand what they're trying to say with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, but I don't know, man. I just think that they were really tight calls. It could have gone either way.
Rob, he never stopped his route.
Yeah.
That is the penalty. He has to stop his route. That was a terrible call.
And Dillard was
Twitter,
literally a half a yard downfield, just as the ball was. It was really weird. But regardless of all that, look, the third down issues are because of your first and second down issues on defense. They're not the running. I mean, the average that these guys were running the ball. I mean, every time they got it, it felt like it was 4 or 5 yards. So yeah, it's really easy to make it. Get your third down conversions when they're 3rd and 4 and under, which I felt like was every single one today, outside of maybe 2 or 3. And that's the frustrating part because, there were a lot of questions about a lot of guys, but everybody you talked to said, wow, Jonathan Gannon's supposed to be the next guy. He's the next guy. Well, he certainly hasn't looked it. And I know that the Chiefs and Dallas are 2 very good offenses, but you got to have something better in your arsenal out there. But to Shane's point as well, the linebacker talent is atrocious.
Awful. And
they have just ignored it. I feel like since Jeremiah Trotter retired, I feel like it's been ignored. So, I mean, it's not, like I said, I'm not as disappointed as I was last week, but this is what it is.
All right, let's first a comment here. Steven says lack of attention to detail on route running and knowing when to be downfield when your head coach is a wide receiver guru. Hurts can't roll left and throw. Skillets on defense, so do not complement each other's own corners that can't play man, support the run. Gannon knows he can't blitz. Anthony Harris turning his hips that wide is just real. I want to talk kind of like just piggyback off of what Rob said. Like, let's go on to something that I thought was actually positive for me, and that was Nick Sirianni. We killed him the last 2 weeks, me especially.
Deservedly so.
Yes, 100%.
I agree with you today.
This was definitely a step in the right direction, even though they weren't, pounding the rock on the ground. 19, but they did have 19 carries. But you look at 8 wide receivers on this Eagles team touching the ball, catching the ball. I love the way they incorporated Quez. Even Jalen Reagor got a ball in the backfield and had a nice run. This was a much better game plan for the Eagles. What about you, Shane? What was your take on Nick Sirianni's game plan today?
Yeah, I thought the game plan was a lot better than it has been either of the last 2 weeks. And it's not because we ran the ball more. I mean, we still only had 10 rushes by running backs versus 48 passes. And, Hurts ran the ball a lot too. But it's about, what we're scheming up. And honestly, it's a lot about execution too. There were plays to be made last week that weren't made. And that fell on Hurts. And so, I think you saw a combination of, I think it was a better game plan from Sirianni, but I also think that you saw Hurts just execute that game plan better too. And, overall you walk away from that and you feel a lot better about the offense. Now, granted, it's against a really bad defense, but I'll be interested to see how they can build on that next week against the Panthers.
You look at, Ertz and Goddard, 13 targets combined there. I love that. You saw that from the jump in this game. And then you see Gainwell, 6 receptions. Miles Sanders had 3. I like the way Sirianni really attacked on all fronts here. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I will say, when you get the ball in the red zone, you get the ball inside the 5-yard line, I would like to see a few more running plays attempting first and second down. But, regardless of that, you saw what happened the one time they're in the red zone. It's 3rd down, and they actually ran the ball, shocked everybody, and Gainwell went right up the middle for a touchdown. Look, I thought Sirianni was better. I thought Hurts was better. I thought he missed a couple things, but I thought the mistakes that those 2 guys made today were the mistakes you kind of expect 4 games into a brand new head coach and a brand new starting quarterback. But you just, without even realizing you touched on it, I want to ask you guys this question. Does Nick Sirianni believe more in Kenneth Gainwell than Miles Sanders?
No question.
It seems like it.
This is she didn't get she was in a swimming pool all day having a great time. This one.
Sounds great. I agree. I do think Gainwell, just his being a threat in that backfield, in that passing game. I think you're seeing. I think that's not. I just think that you're going to see more and more of that as the season progresses. What about you, Ty?
I agree. I also think Gainwell picks up the blitz a whole lot better than Sanders does. So I think that's one of the reasons he's kind of won the coaching staff over. I just want to touch real quickly on the number of run plays. So like we talked about 19 rushes, 8 of them were Hurts carries, but they also had 5 wide receiver screens that I made mark of. I was preoccupied. I was chasing around kids, but I had 5. I count those as runs. Anytime that he's not throwing the ball beyond the line of scrimmage, I count that as runs. So we're getting up to 24, and it might have been more than that. But, I just thought the game plan offensively was much better today. I do like them incorporating Gainwell more. I like Miles Sanders, don't get me wrong, but 7 carries, 13 yards, 1.9 a carry is really not getting it done. Banged up offensive line. So I don't know. Gainwell 3 for 31, 10.3. That's the numbers. That's all you really got.
All right, let's roll on to our take on Jalen Hurts. Let's give a player grade. Shane, lead us off. What was your player grade and impression, takeaways on Jalen Hurts, what you saw today?
I'll give Hurts like a B plus for today. I thought he played pretty well. Some of the things that I was most impressed with aren't things that really popped off the screen, but there was a couple plays in a row where he climbed up into a collapsing pocket, which is something he has not done before. And that's a step that he needs to take, not trying to always flush out of the back of the pocket. And so seeing him do that does more for me than his stats, his yards do. I'd rather see him step up in the pocket and take a sack a few times than have a 400-yard passing game. That shows more to me of his progression as a quarterback than just putting up yardage. So I love that we saw that element. I thought that pass he threw to Ertz on the sideline that he dropped in over the linebackers might be the prettiest pass I've ever seen him throw. And the very next play, he had a beautiful pass downfield to Smith. And of course, Smith steps out of bounds while he's running the route. But yeah, I've never even heard of that before. And now it's happened 2 times in 3 weeks.
It's unbelievable.
But yeah, I thought he played really well. Definitely some things to work on. But overall, my biggest thing is I liked seeing him step up into the pocket. That's something I don't feel we've seen him do much before.
What about you, Rob? How would you grade Jalen Hurts' performance?
Yeah, I'd say he had probably about a solid B here today. I thought he had a good game overall. I think there's certain things. Listen, the drive right before the half where you fumble that ball, you take that sack, that one hurt. A couple of times where I just feel like he's so quick to get out of the pocket, or he just starts bouncing around a little bit too much. But that's all stuff to work on. Overall, I thought he was much better today. He didn't look lost out there. Neither did Nick Sirianni. Neither of them did. They didn't look lost today. What you did was you ran into a buzzsaw of an offense for the Kansas City Chiefs, who, by the way, had lost 2 straight and, were pissed the hell off.
Yeah, big time.
And you saw that the way the offense played the game today. But you held your own with them. And I know their defense is bad, but if you would have told me that the Eagles were going to put up 30 points today, I would have told you I'd feel the way I do, which is I feel okay about this. I'm not devastated with this one, So good job by Jalen Hurts to rebound off of that disastrous performance Monday.
What about you, Ty?
Yeah, I feel much better this week than I did last week. But
Easily.
I'm gonna get. I like the B grade. I watch footwork a lot. I played quarterback in high school, which means nothing at that level. Don't get me wrong, but I can see some of the fundamental stuff that they used to try and preach to us. His footwork was much better this week than last week. I'm with Shane on stepping up in the pocket. He did it multiple times today, which we never saw last week. Somebody got some.
Yeah, there's something going on.
We were trying to figure that out.
I do think he gets out of the pocket a little quick sometimes. Need to work on him rolling to the left, but B. He threw for 385 yards and 2 touchdowns against a really bad defense in a game that we couldn't stop the other team's offense. So,
all right, let's roll on to player of the game. for the Birds. Let's go to you, Rob. Who is your player of the game?
Man, I wasn't really thinking I had to call one of them. I'm going to say DeVonta Smith, man.
Nice.
DeVonta Smith really,
Nice.
He's over 100 yards. He made some really nice catches. I understand he's out of bounds on that touchdown catch. Once again, that was one that I think could have went either way, that he was shoved out and did reestablish, but I understand the call at the same time. But it was a good game for him. Look, he's going against a guy in Tyreek Hill, who's another small frame wide receiver, who's really made a career for himself, right? And a lot of people are hoping that DeVonta Smith can do that to a certain extent here, maybe not with the speed and everything, but listen, Tyreek Hill had a great game, but I thought DeVonta Smith was really strong today, and I think that that's something for Eagles fans to be happy with going forward.
What about you, Ty?
I'll go like completely out of the box here. Jake Elliott 3 for 3 on field goals, didn't miss an extra point, right? So I took Sippos in week 1 because he punted the ball really well. I mean, obviously DeVonta Smith had a really good game. I think Kenneth Gainwell had a really good game. Hargrave again kind of stood out, but I don't know that anybody really. I don't know that you can really take a player of the game here. The offense did what they needed to do against a really bad defense, and the defense didn't do what they needed to do against a really good offense. So, sure, Jake Elliott, why not?
I'm going to go the Ted Lasso route, and I'm going to be like super positive. I'm going to give it to Nick Sirianni. I have destroyed this guy over the last 2 weeks, and you look at the way he got, the tight ends, the intermediate area of the field involved in this game, 11 catches by Eagles tight ends, 106 yards, a touchdown. I want to see more of that moving forward next week. That needs to be a mainstay in this Eagles offense. And then 5 yards a carry, although I know a lot of that's hurt scrambling, but they need to run the ball more. They need to commit to the run more. But overall, top to bottom, this was a huge step forward in the right direction for Nick Sirianni. Shane, I muted you. Who is your player of the game?
Why'd you mute me, man?
We're getting a little back noise.
Oh, my bad. I'll give it to Jalen Hurts. He had a good game through the air, had a good game on the ground. He's the leading rusher, throws for 387 yards and 2 touchdowns. And, overall solid game. He's got, he gets stripped on that play at the end of the first half, which there's some clock mismanagement going on there. But overall, I thought he played a really good game. I also do want to point out that Javon Hargraves is on pace for a 21 sack season. So
Jeez.
His previous season high, I think I said it was 6.5 sacks. So he's got 5 right now.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. He's been the rock. There's no question about that. Let's wrap it up. Final thoughts, and we'll just do plugs. My final thought is it's unbelievable how the Eagles, even though they're 1-3, they have held 3 of the best tight ends in the game, and Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and Kyle Pitts to 12 catches, 71 yards, and 18 targets. You look at how that was a weakness on this defense last year, even though the defense
Avonte Maddox. That's why.
Yeah, so they have really done a good job limiting the best in the game there. So just a fun little stat there. What about you, Ty? Where can we find you? What do you got going on? What final thoughts?
Final thoughts are, boy, does Jeffrey Lurie have a type. Like, dear God, if he were to marry another woman, she'd be exactly like the woman he's married to now. Offensively, it's just very similar to what we saw with Doug Peterson and Andy Reid, and we're still not running the ball a ton. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy with the offensive production today, but he really does have a type when he hires a coach. But yeah, I wasn't expecting much more than this today. In fact, they over exceeded expectations today. You can find me at TyBook3 on Twitter or at PTP2021 on Twitter. And I'll be here next week for the postgame show.
Love it. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, look, when we looked at the schedule at the beginning of the season, I think we saw it very easily could play out this way. And I think we need to keep that in consideration throughout these next couple of weeks. All right. It's not getting any easier anytime soon between Carolina, between Tampa and Las Vegas. I mean, it's just not getting easier anytime soon. But if the Eagles offense can do this against poor defenses when they get later into the season and the schedule eases up a little bit, you might see them win a few more games. So just stay the course and look for improvement every week. Like we saw improvement in the offense this week. Now we need to see them at least be that good next week with improvement from the defense. That's what you're hoping for. That's what you want to see. And we'll go from there. You can find me at Philly_Madness. I'm on here with Dive, post game. We do shows during the week, so you can catch me here as well. And if you have any real estate needs, I'm your guy.
There you go. Love it. What about you, Shane?
Yeah, I feel bad for Aaron Siposs. I feel like he's making like a play for Pro Bowl here, and then the Eagles are going to do him like that and not even let him punt once today. So feel bad for him there. But, yeah, like you guys said, overall, I didn't expect to win this game. I also didn't expect to compete as well as we did. So I'm leaving this game feeling pretty happy with the outcome. You can find me on Twitter at @halfandhalf_TPL. I host a podcast, Chalk Talk. We'll be going live to break down all the week 4 stuff that happened, preview week 5 later this week. So make sure you check that out as well.
All right. Go ahead, Ty.
One thing I got to ask. So all signs are pointing to 3 first-round picks next year. I know it's really early. Are they all defensive picks?
Oh, baby. So
we are so undermanned on the defensive side of the football. Yes. Are you sold? Like, I mean, we're talking about a season where we're going to have a nice first round pick just on us. Like, what are you guys thinking as far as we're going right now?
Real quick. I am all defense, loading up on defense. If I'm Howie Roseman in this draft, there's some really strong players. It's always been the Kyle Hamilton and Kayvon Thibodeau show for me in the top of this draft. They are 100% studs. Thibodeau is a monster of an edge rusher and would be perfect on this team. And then Kyle Hamilton's like this uber hybrid safety linebacker that I think would really fit well here in Philadelphia. Fans would just absolutely fall in love with that guy, knowing the Eagles' history there at that position. So I would go there. And then there's a lot of really good cornerbacks in this draft, like Kaiir Elam out of Florida. There's a lot of guys in this draft that I think screams value-wise, first round-wise, top of the second round-wise, draft or defense. And if you're an Eagles fan and you're watching this game today, there's no question, like Shane said earlier, you have to inject playmakers and talent pretty much at the back 7 at least. But that's where I would go. What about you, Shane?
I think quarterback is still a likely outcome for the top first round pick. I mean, it obviously depends on how Jalen Hurts does throughout the rest of the year, but I still think that's very much on the table. But outside of that, yeah, I mean, the Eagles have major needs at defensive end, at linebacker, at safety, and at cornerback. Bigger needs than anywhere else on the offense, in my opinion. So we'll see how it plays out with Hurts. I think at the very least 2 of those 3 should be defensive players, but maybe all 3. We'll see if Hurts can keep this up. Any
take on that, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, I think offensive line could maybe need somebody. I mean, Jesus, they can stay healthy there. I do think quarterback's a possibility, but if you could say at the end of the year, okay, we're going to move forward with Jalen Hurts, I think it's just a benefit to go all defense, linebackers, safeties, even corners. You need guys in these spots, and hopefully these picks are in a spot where you can get immediate playmakers. So, I think a lot still has to be decided this season, but I'm not against it if that's the way they go.
Yeah, the big quarterback name to watch out for is Malik Willis. He's a quarterback out of Liberty. He's smallish, dual threat quarterback, but big arm, can hurt you with his legs. That's someone that everyone should be watching. But outside of that, I'm not that sold on a lot of these guys. Shane, you can talk a little bit, just real quick, a minute on Spencer Rattler because he's struggling a little bit.
Yet nobody has lost more money this football season than Spencer Rattler. Entered the year consensus QB1. If the draft was today, I don't know if he'd go in the first round. He's had a rough season, utterly careless with the football. Obviously, he can still sort it out, and we'll see how the offseason goes. That the arm talent's there. Like he's got a tremendous arm, but his decision making is shaky at best so far this year. So we'll see how he strikes me as the type of guy that'll kind of get a stock boost through the offseason as he talks to teams and things like that. But he has been shaky so far this year.
All right. And if it was up to me, as of right now, of course, we're going to go through the ebb and flows of this Eagles season. Like I would 100% roll the dice with Hurts next year and get a vet quarterback, bring them in, and just continue to add the pieces to the puzzle around this roster. That's just my take. So Amadeo, my man, says throw Barnett into this. I'm so done with
him. I hate him.
I'm so done with that guy. Even Josh.
Okay, so I was tweeting the game when that play happened. In the replay, the roughing the passer play. Everybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
In the replay that I saw, it looked like he kind of got blocked into that. Anybody else agree with that? But I didn't see it live, so
he did a little bit. He also should have been flagged for roughing the passer the play before too. So
All right. Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap it up. We're nearly 30 minutes in. Guys, thank you everybody for watching. If you love the Eagles, smash that like button and hit that subscribe. For Shane, for Rob, for Ty, for myself, thanks for watching, guys.